And yeah, so what sort of drove you to come over to America?
Just the theatre. I was working in England. I'd been on things like Coronation Street and Z-Cars and a number of other radio, television plays, and I had an opportunity to go with the show I was in Oliver, to go to New York, and I took it. That was in 1962. So I've been over here for over 50 years now.
You were in Oliver when you saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, didn't you? When you were.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we were doing a song from the show, Georgia Brown and all the kids. It was quite an experience because I hadn't really experienced anything live like that, other than watching Ready Steady Go and all the other pop shows we had in England. So yeah, it was a new thing. So, and soon after that, I started to record, and soon after that, I had a release, and then in the mid-60s, 65, 66, the Monkees shot the pilot, and we went on and toured the world. So, everything kind of fell into place.
I've always wondered, what was the atmosphere like in sort of Los Angeles in the 60s, and sort of coming from England? Were you treated any different?
Well, yeah, it was before we were called Brits. It was I was English, and there weren't as many English people. There was one or two names that were Albert Finney, and you had Dudley Moore. It was what started the English invasion. They actually called the pop people the English invasion, but it already started on Broadway and in theatre. Los Angeles has always been a very strange place for me. It was very spread out, and it wasn't, there weren't sprinklings of stars on Hollywood Boulevard, because Hollywood Boulevard was like a seedy-looking place.
Yeah.
They cleaned it up a little bit now.
It made me think, when you were talking about that, how did you get about meeting Frank Zappa and getting him involved with the Head film?
Well, we had a number of people in that. He was around at the time, and he was part of, the same thing as Neil Young was around, and Stephen Stills and lots of other musicians in Hollywood, and pretty much all, trying to sell and do their thing. Zappa was I think he was older than most of the pop groups around at the time, and he had this bizarre, sort of Al Yankovic kind of an approach to music.
Yeah.
It was all pretty, it was pretty out there, but, it was still good.
Yeah.
Had Sonny Liston was in the movie, and Annette Funicello, Victor Mature. So there was all kinds of reasons for these different people to be in the movie, and Zappa was, as strange a choice to be in the Monkee movie as Jimi Hendrix was to have been our opening act. So, but that's what, the Monkees were variety, so, you got to see that. I mean, we could have had, Marty Wilde open for us, or Cliff Richards or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that they needed to open for anybody, but, it was just a choice. We had people like Ike and Tina Turner. We had the Association. We had Lulu. We had, a number of, everybody seemed to enjoy that. And now as time goes on, I realize, there's a lot of Monkee fans hiding away there. And, they come out to see us when we perform. And we reminisce with some great songs.
Found out that you did this film, Head. How was your experiences in making the film? Because I heard that you had a bit of dispute over writing.
No, we all sat down one weekend and wrote the ideas down that we had, and then Bert Schneider, Bob Rafelson, Jack Nicholson sort of put the film together, and added sort of scene changes and different things that they wanted to do. It was a collaboration between Mickey, Mike, Peter, and myself, and I'm told Mike has the tapes somewhere of that, somewhere. And if he does, then you can always claim the foul go along. And it doesn't really matter. I was paid $1,000 for that movie. It seems that it's shown in film classes now in colleges, and it seems that it's well thought of, and that would be the payday. That would be the benefit of having done it.
Yeah.
It didn't open gates for me to become a movie star or, associated with writing. As I say, I've just finished writing a musical dear friend of mine, Chris Andrews, who took over from me as the Artful Dodger in England back in 1963. And he and I have written a musical, a traditional musical.
What's it about? What's it called?
It's untitled right now.
Yeah.
But it's about a village in England before the war, 1934, 1936. Then war breaks out, and a lot of the guys go off to war, and the village is left there, and we get stories from different people, and then they come back, and some of them do, and some of them don't. They're traditionally very underneath the arches, very Tommy Steele, very, very when I'm cleaning windows.
I mean, I love George Formby and all that style as well.
All this stuff that we've done has all got some, don't send me hubby off the wall, mister, don't send me hubby off the wall, and it's got some pathos in there. It's got some really moving material, and it's going to include film and such that we are hopefully going to acquiring. There are smaller villages and places where they lost half the men.
Yeah.
And there's stories that surround that prior to the war and the end of the war. I only make music because I want to, and I feel something I enjoy doing. So I wrote a song last night actually for I was in a bar having a beer, and you remember Adamant?
Yeah, Adamant.
Well, Adamant, that's the urinal. That's the name of a urinal, Adamant.
Yeah.
And that's where he got his name from, but then there was a urinal in this bar. It was American Standard.
Yeah.
So when I got back to the table and I'd finished my dinner, I wrote a song called American Standard, about a girl, that she wasn't your standard American, she was an American standard. I might write about a tree garden in Manchester, that was there when I was a boy. It only bloomed once, and that was the year after my father passed away. The cherry tree.
Oh.
Or I might talk about trying to hang a picture on a wall, and every time I come out in the morning, it'd be off the wall. I go, how come that was? And I realized the wall was it had been a door at one point. There's small little things that from my past, personal,
Yeah. So you're playing these gigs in England, the anniversary tour of the Monkees. I'm really looking forward to it. The 14th of May, isn't it, in Manchester Apollo?
Yeah, the Apollo, probably first 3 rows will be my relatives, I'm sure.
So I take it you're going to spend some time with the family and everything while you're over here?
Yeah, as much as I can. It's very difficult, when you're touring. It's not, the performances are the easy part. It's the touring which makes it very difficult.
Yeah.
It's the touring and the travelling. So, fortunately the English thing is pretty accessible, and so we won't be really fatigued as much as one would be in America, traveling 6,000-7,000 or 1,000 miles in the night,
Yeah.
But, and we'll all be together, and we're all looking forward to doing it with, a collection of songs that are familiar and people are enjoying. We get to Liverpool, we're definitely going to be doing a Randy Scouse skit, the alternate title. So, we're looking forward to all those, memories to share once again with the fans and the people that have, really requested this tour. It's been a fan-based, idea, really, and we're just going to see it through and enjoy it.
Do you think Don Kirshner stifled the music process for you as sort of? Do you think Don sort of stifled that?
It wasn't really anything to do with one particular thing. Don Kirshner was the head of the music department at Screen Gems Columbia Pictures, and whenever there was a project, a movie, television or otherwise, he would supply the tunes, and that's all he was doing.
Right.
But this is the first time they've got a band. When the Beatles first started, they were playing Johnny B. Good and Everly Brothers songs and many other material that was not their own.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden they thought, well, I think, and so did the Stones, and so did the Who, and many other bands. They were all playing what people knew and what people were familiar with. Then all of a sudden they realized that they could write their own material, and then came in the publishing, and then came in the joy of singing one of your own tunes. Like I will be singing on the tour a couple of my own because it'll make me feel good, and why not? I had no problem with it. No, we made a couple of albums where Peter and Mickey and Mike and we all played on the albums. Peter would play a guitar on one album or one song, or Mike would be there writing his own stuff and putting his own stuff down. So it was all in the evolution of our artistic needs. There was no major particular one time that we all said, no, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Mike would go in the studio and he had ideas as to how he wanted to do his music. Then it happened that Peter wanted to write the second year's theme to the Monkees show. Instead of it being Hey, Hey, we're the Monkees, people say we monkey around. He wrote Love is Understanding, it's in everything we do. And he wrote the theme to the second year. Whether right or wrong or indifferent, he did it because he's in it and he asked that he could do it.
Yeah.
On reflection, every time you hear the Johnny Carson show, dun da 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 dun da 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 dun, you knew it was Johnny Carson. So some of those standard repetitive things, TV series, da 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 da. Coronation Street,
yeah.
Right? I mean, we're familiar with that song. That song makes us think, oh, it's Coronation Street. So even 50 years later, so it's right and it's wrong. It's a choice, and that sometimes, at times in your life, you make the wrong choices. I'm not saying that they made wrong decisions or that they made wrong choices.
Yeah.
It's just that they wanted to change.
Yeah.
And Don Kirshner was not used to having people telling that they wanted to change. What do you mean you want to change? It's like telling Clive Davis. But now Clive Davis has released Barry Manilow to Rhino. He's released Whitney Houston, people that he's supported and looked after for years and years. Maybe he's on the brink of retirement. So he's trying to place his people that he's been loyal to in situations that will keep their careers moving. Because if somebody else comes in, maybe they'll dump Whitney Houston because she's a pain in the ass. Yeah. Or maybe they'll dump Barry Manilow because he's out of date. But that's not, for us to speculate on.
Yeah.
And maybe the change that we made was right, wrong, or otherwise, and we did start to get more involved with the music. And we also didn't sell as many records as we used to before. But that could have been from the popularity of the initial introduction to the band. And all bands go through those, periods of time where they're not. What happened to Oasis? They were going to be bigger than the Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened to Blur? All of a sudden you've got, Take That back on the road, right?
Yeah.
Packing them in. So, maybe they are the, Monkees of the, 90s, Maybe all of a sudden, they want to see Robbie Williams and the boys in those, looking like they used to and singing those songs that the people love so much, Let's just, go with the flow and make sure that, we play the hits. There are artists out there, Bobby McFadden, Don't Worry, Be Happy. He don't sing that song in his show. He won't sing it.
Really? Oh.
No, why? Why? Get over it, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen. I don't know what what your listeners are, but I hope they'll all come see us in the Apollo or come to Liverpool and just enjoy the Monkees for what we are. We got some great tunes, and we have a lovely, fun show for you. So.
Oh yeah,
everybody will be there.
Yeah. Oh well, thank you for spending your time with us.
No problem at all. Have a great time and stay warm. And here comes the sun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Time's here.
All right. Thank you for that.
All the best. Bye bye.
Right, goodbye.